Nice welcome to everyone this morning. I don't see anyone new. Is there anyone celebrating with us for the first time? No? Well, welcome to those of us who are here today. Please, just a quick reminder to turn off your cell phone or put it to mute. All right, I don't see anybody doing that. There you go. Now I see everybody doing that. Our 1-minute reader today is Anne, and she'll be coming along just a second. Our musician this morning is Wendy, so we've got some in-house favorites today. Anne, will you come on up?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Paying attention to your soul's garden. I pay attention to the needs of my spirit. I make time to quench my soul's thirst. Plants are wonderful spiritual teachers. When we pay attention to their simple needs, they respond by growing and bringing beauty and life-giving oxygen into our presence. Plants silently make us aware of their needs by wilting, yellowing, or failing to thrive. Equally silent, but often less obvious, our soul needs can go unnoticed for long periods of time. If the needs of our spiritual self are ignored too long, drought conditions occur, leaving us feeling dried up and lifeless. Luckily, both flowers and spirits are very resilient and respond beautifully to a little nurturance. Recently, I was all wrapped up in my work, totally forgot that my potted geraniums and impatiens were sweltering in a heat wave. By the time I noticed them, the impatiens were already crispy. Plying them with fervent apologies and much-needed water urged them to revive. Miraculously, they did. Given a little attention and tender loving care, our spirits are just as forgiving and equally as anxious to regreen and blossom as were my flowers. What does your soul garden look like? Are the plants and flowers green and happy? If not, what will quench their thirst? What attention do they crave? What tiny little step can you take right now? What miniature bloom can you attend to soon? When you listen attentively, you'll know how best to serve your soul's needs. It's very important, however, that we don't try to do too much at once, or we set ourselves up for failure and become discouraged. When we consistently sow one small seed, water a single vase, till a square inch of soil, the entire garden reaps the benefit. Taking a little soul seconds, one small prayer, a few-minute meditation, a short burst of gratitude while appreciating nature, helps immeasurably to revive our thirsty spirits. We don't have to join a convent or live in a cave to attend to our souls, although I admit that it sounds appealing sometimes. Luckily, our souls flower and grow when nurtured with consistent rays of attention interspersed among the busy hours of our days.
Thank you, Anna, for sharing. Our first hymn today is page 26. We'll sing both verses of Hark the Herald Angels Sing. It's page 26, and we'll sing both verses.
Joyful,
first order of business this morning is to light the Advent candle. That's the light of faith, the light of hope. And today we light the light of faith. This morning, I'm going to read from Psalms 89:11. Go back to the Bible over and over again, plucking out these marvelous words of wisdom and ideas that nourish us inwardly. The Bible is full of them. As I said, from Psalm 89:11, the heavens are thine, the earth also is thine. As for the world and the fullness thereof, thou hast founded them. And I want to share with you something that I've found some time ago. I've read it, I know, at least 2 or 3 times. But every time I run into it, it awes me all over again. And this is from Paul Davies' book, God and the New Physics. He says in this book, had the Big Bang been weaker, the cosmos would have soon fallen back on itself in a big crunch. On the other hand, had it been stronger, the cosmic material would have dispersed so rapidly that galaxies would not have formed. If this balance had been off by 1 to a staggering 10 to the 60th power, we couldn't exist. Suppose you wanted to fire a bullet at a 1-inch target on the other side of the observable universe, 20 billion light years away. Your aim would have to be as accurate as that same 1 to 10 to the 60th power. I read that and it still awes me. God's magnificence, His power, His wisdom, His intelligence, it's awe-inspiring, it's staggering. And so today we agree with the psalmist who didn't know about this 1 to the 10th to the 60th power. He didn't know anything about it. All he knew was that the heavens are thine, the earth also is thine. As for the world and the fullness thereof, thou hast founded them. And we say today, amen. He not only did that marvelous work, but He created us just as carefully, just as perfectly, just as wondrously. We carry that forth in our hearts and give thanks for it. Give thanks for it. Shall we say our divine science statement of being? You will find it in your orders of service. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Yes, I'm sitting down this morning. I hope you all will forgive me for that. I did a little comforting, I think. And that's how I practice, and so. Is that level okay? Okay. Hold it all together, everybody needs you strong. But life hits you out of nowhere, barely leaves you holding on. And when you're tired of fighting, chained by your control, there's freedom and surrender. Lay it down and let it go. So when you're on your knees and answer seems so far away, you're not alone. Stop holding on and just be held. Your world's not falling apart, it's falling into place. You're not alone. Stop holding on and just be held. Just be held. Just be held. If your eyes are on the storm, you wonder if I love you still. But if your eyes are on the cross, you know I always have and I always will. Now a tear is wasted, in time you'll understand. I'm painting beauty with the ashes, your life is in my hands. So when you're on your knees and answer seems so far away, you're not alone. Stop holding on and just be held. Your world's not falling apart, it's falling into place. You're not alone. Stop holding on and just be held. Just be held. Just be held. Lift your hands, lift your eyes. In the storm is where you'll find me. Where you are, I'll hold your heart. I'll hold your heart. Come to me, find your rest in the arms of a God who won't let go. So when you're on your knees and answer seems so far away, you're not alone. Stop holding on and just be held. Your world's not falling apart, it's falling into place. You're not alone. Stop holding on and just be held. Just be held. Just be held. Just be held. Just be held.
If I may have the prayer box. This is the time when we just get still, relax. In this busy time of year, that's so welcome, isn't it? Yeah, take that deep breath. And let go of everything. Everything that happened before you sat down in the church, and everything that will happen after you stand up. Just be now. Be what you are, a soul surrounded by a fleshy husk that you are using, but that is not you. You are that quickening power, that life force within. You are that wisdom, that peace, that understanding that comes forth when you give yourself time to just open yourself to what you really are and to the wisdom that God has placed within you. Just be. And the more times during a day when we can take 35 seconds, 40 seconds, and just be relaxed, peaceful, knowing that we are never alone, knowing that that God that created everything as perfectly as He created this external universe, that all is going to fall into place. All will be in harmony, in abundance, in peace and in love. We let go and let God. And as we do that, as we remove the impression, the idea from our minds that we are responsible for it all, that we can do it all, the more quickly, the more bountiful will be the positive change. For we cannot do it all. We must release. We must let go and allow the infinite Spirit of God full access to our intuition, to our intention, to our desire to be all that we can be. Oh, this day, we hold in mind all those whose names I hold in my hand, those who are on our Valley Community Church prayer list, our armed forces scattered around the world and at home in the United States. We include the government of our own country, as well as the governments and the leadership of the countries around the world, knowing that God can and will do His perfect will in and through each and all, if they allow it. If they allow it, there will be peace and plenty and harmony everywhere. This we affirm, this we pray for. This we know can happen. And may it be included in our prayer each time we raise our thoughts to God. Right now, and for the next 90 seconds, when we take our time of silence, let us let go. Let go of the fears, the worries, and remember that 1 to the 10th power, to the 10th to the 60th power, that created the universe in the marvelous way in which it operates. That same force is exercising wisdom, love, and power in and through each one of us. Let go. Let God. Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And I will give you help. I will give you hope. I will give you strength. I will give you whatever is needed. You have only to engage my help by turning to me with a full heart, with trust and love, with faith. And we say, yes, Father, here I am. Thank you. Thank you for your help. Thank you. Always. Amen. Shall we say the affirmative version of the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed is thy name. Thy kingdom is come. Thy will is done on earth as it is in heaven. Thou givest us this day our daily bread. Thou forgivest us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Thou leadest us not into temptation, but dost deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Well, the subject is faith, and so the title is The Awesome Power of Faith. Second Sunday at Advent is focused on that subject, but what speakers do is sort of resort to definitions to start with, and I did that. How do you define faith? Lots of different ways, actually, many different approaches to that. Some define faith as complete trust or confidence in someone or something. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Some say faith is belief not based on proof. Well, that could get a little bit iffy. That could get problematic. Faith is belief not based on proof. Frankly, I love proof. I love it when science starts saying the same things we start saying. Or when the mystics from eons ago say the same things that we say. I love that. I love that kind of proof. So I'm not there. But others say that faith is a belief in God. And it is, but it's a whole lot more. Paul, he defined faith as, this was the letter to the Hebrews, he said, the evidence, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So that was a good definition too. No matter how you might formally define it, our basic faith, our deepest beliefs about every facet of our existence actually shapes our lives. Our belief, our trust, certainly the truth about who and what we are, whether we're worthy or unworthy, whether we're sinners, or whether we are souls with unlimited potential, or our belief about other people. They're good people, they're bad people, can't be trusted. Our belief in what life can hold for us, a little, just a little, or a lot. Our belief or lack of it in God can make a huge difference, huge. Our belief, as Einstein put it, that we live in a friendly universe, or not. All of these profoundly affect our life experience, our expectations in life. What we have faith in is of tremendous importance. I remember once, I don't know when it was, it's some time back, I was watching a television program and there was an interview of a 12 or 13-year-old Middle Eastern boy whose parents were ISIS members. And this youngster had been raised to believe that his reason for living was to strap a bomb on his chest and sacrifice himself and take as many infidels as he could with him. Infidels meaning Muslims, but of a different sect, different branch of that faith. And it was totally chilling to hear this child talk. He was 12, 13, something like that. That complete, unquestioning faith in what he had been taught, that was his belief. That was his faith. Left me just shaking my head and wondering, how could parents do this? No matter how devoted they were, how could they do that to a child? But there are times when faith changes 180 degrees. One time you're one way and then you're totally different. There was an article in the paper actually last August about a priest called Father William Atchison. And he was temporarily stepping down from the priesthood after revealing that he'd been a member of the KKK when he was an impressionable college student, something like 40 years before. You know, he wasn't just a passive, there at the meetings kind of a member at all. He was the exalted cyclops, the big head honcho of a KKK lodge. He had burned crosses in front of 2 synagogues and on the front lawn of an African-American couple. And he had also written a threatening letter to no less than Coretta Scott King, the widow of Martin Luther King. It went, "Stay off the University of Maryland campus, or you will die. Africa or death by lynching. Take your pick. Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Unknown to his parents, he was even building pipe bombs in the basement. He was caught. He pled guilty. And he said, well, I did do it. He pled guilty. And he was convicted of these crimes. Atchison spent time in prison. He had to pay something like a $20,000 fine. And he was on probation for 4 years. But he has since called these acts despicable. A bleak period of my life that I'd have preferred to forget. One that brings me to my knees in prayer. And came all so forcibly to his consciousness when those events happened in Charlottesville this past summer. Now, his bishop knew all about these past mistakes that he had made when he was ordained to the Catholic priesthood. And since becoming a priest, Father Atchison has served a number of different parishes, and inspired by what happened in Charlottesville, he wrote to the Arlington Catholic Herald, an editorial actually, saying what he had done about his deep regrets for these awful mistakes so many years before. But when it got around and people read this article, a large number of supporters came forward and called him a gifted pastor. What would be fascinating and what was not covered in the article, certainly in our newspaper, was a description of what was it that brought about this 180-degree change in what he had faith in. No longer in hatred, but in love, in service, in God. What an amazing spiritual experience it must have been to change his whole life path. I think he was majoring in broadcasting or something like that. He became a priest. Now, that's just one tiny little example. But you can see how overwhelmingly important it is where our faith in life is placed. When you walk through the doors of this church, we begin doing our very best to persuade you that you need to change what you've always had faith in. We urge you to move past a complete absorption in a view of life that you get just through your five senses. Oh, there's so much more than just that. The truth is that a totally material view of life will ensure that your faith will be terribly misplaced. And furthermore, that a totally material view of life will bring difficulties to you, will bring unfulfilling experiences to you. How well we know that money and power and sex and all the other things people seem to strive for leaves them empty, inwardly empty. Divine science instead teaches us to put our complete faith in the spiritual truth that we are part of, that we are one with. And that is that God is omnipresent. God is everywhere. God is that spiritual force that has all knowledge and all power, all love, understanding, peace, abundance, and abounding good. That's what we're part of. That's the truth of us. Truly, all that's required of somebody who walks in this room for the first time is that they believe in God. That's basic. But then we begin defining God in a new and much broader way than most people have heard about him or thought about him before. Furthermore, we define ourselves in a new and a much deeper way than most people have ever defined themselves before. We take those fundamental truths right out of the first chapter of Genesis. And I've said them so many times, and I've probably bored you with them. That we were made in God's image and likeness. But when you think about that, 1 to the 10th to the 60th power, a number so large you can't even imagine it, and the perfection of the creation, the perfection of everything that's going around us, even though we see imperfection, then as we think of that image and likeness within us, then we have a totally new view of ourselves. Totally new. And not only did he create us in his image, but then he took that extra step and pronounced us very good. Not just good, very good. As our own faith, our trust, our confidence in this new definition of ourselves grows, we begin to experience more and more moments when we are expressing God's image, when we are being godly, expressing his qualities, like patience. We're more patient than we were before. We take the time to understand more. We're more peaceful with people and with ourselves. We're wise. Just creative ideas come to us. We're kind to people. And we find that it really isn't any great effort to do this, to be this way. It just seems to come naturally, which it is, of course. It is our natural, fundamental nature. Goodness. Very good. Our nature is spiritual and godly, and we rejoice in that. Now, it begins to make perfectly good sense to stop putting our complete faith in how things look on the surface of life. So much more is going on. Instead, we begin to mentally put some faith into the equation. Everywhere, in everything, in the blackest of circumstances that you can think about or experience, certainly experience, good is present because God the good is present. Instead of feeling sad, instead of getting scared out of your wits because of the way things seem to be, we begin to feel more inner peace. We hear the bad news, but we bring in the faith. We draw on that river of uplift. We know that God is here too. God is part of this equation. And a quiet assurance takes us over instead of panic. Divine order is already established, whether we can see it or not. In the final analysis, God is in control. We're not. We're inspired to help. We're inspired to help in a way, whatever way we can. But the power that created this marvelous universe, everything in it, is that unseen force for good, even in the darkest, the scariest of circumstances. It's the source of solutions, of right action, everywhere. Faith. Faith in the omnipresence of God and good is liberating. It's uplifting. It releases our inner tensions. All of a sudden, our shoulders go down, and we can take a deep breath and feel a sense of calm within ourselves. And it can make us a partner in bringing that good to the front. But all it does for us, we remember more acutely now in the season of Advent. The season where we anticipate and celebrate the birth of the most marvelous man, the greatest man who ever lived. For myself, I love the Christmas stories. We have a nativity scene every year at our house. The child in the manger, the shepherds and the angels and the wise men and their gifts. But there's no way to know for certain whether that was really the way it was. My goodness. Are they just beautiful legends that have been passed down over 20 centuries? Is that really what they are? Legends? We don't know. We just do not know. But we do know for certain that Jesus of Nazareth was born, and he grew to manhood, and he gave us an example of what a person who fully expresses the image of God looks like, talks like, acts like. We see in him a perfect role model. He said in the book of John, I solemnly assure you that the Son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, the Son does the same. I've puzzled and puzzled about what he was seeing. I wondered. But apparently he got directions. Visually? Auditorily? Who knows? But he followed God's directions. He listened. Jesus' life was devoted to helping, to healing, to teaching, to showing the most wonderful kindness to people. He broke bread with the thieves and the prostitutes. He didn't hold himself above anybody. He complimented the Romans, the hated Romans, when they deserved it. And he castigated the Pharisees and the Sadducees when they deserved it. Neither high office nor riches impressed him at all. Not at all. He preached love. He preached forgiveness. He said those were the most important things for people to follow. He never took any credit for the remarkable healings or the blessed teachings. Instead, he said, the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. He gave all the credit to God. He didn't keep any for himself. And Jesus did not judge or condemn people. When a woman was found in adultery, caught in the midst of the act, he said to this group of men who are going to stone her to death, he who is without sin can cast the first stone. And he looked up after a little while, and they all left. They'd been condemned by their own actions. Neither, he said to the woman, do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. And didn't Jesus actually define you and I and himself and the Pharisees that objected so much to what he said? Didn't he define us all when he quoted, is it not written in your own law, I have said ye are gods? It's in Psalms. Ye are gods. We dilute that a little by saying we are part of the presence of God. But Jesus was reminding these religious authorities that their own scriptures said that they were children of God, and so was he, and so was everybody else. What an amazing teacher and role model he was. Whether those wonderful legends are true or not makes no difference. We knew what he did as an adult. It's at this time of year that we most especially can and should think about the deep inner meaning of the Christmas story, because like everything else in the Bible, we can apply it to ourselves. We can use it ourselves. At Christmas time, we're gradually coming to understand and remember that within each of us, and this is something we have to work on, because we forget. within each of us is the full potential of the Christ child, God's image within us. Every day, God's child of light is born again in us, not just at Christmas time, but every time we open our eyes of a morning. Shouldn't we celebrate Christmas by rededicating ourselves word by word, every word we speak, and decision by decision, every decision we make, to acting from the highest and the best within us? Yeah. That could be our faith in action through the Christmas season and every season. Use your powerful faith. Use it in the truth of your spiritual nature as you see that and think about that. And express your true Christ self, your spiritual self, your wondrous, powerful, loving, giving, wise, and good spiritual self, spiritual nature. Express it. It's easy. Your power of faith can make it so. Let's close our eyes. Faith. What do we have faith in? Do we have faith in our missteps, our mistakes, painful things that have happened? Or do we have faith in our potential for living triumphantly, peacefully, powerfully, spiritually? Do we have faith in our capacity to draw to ourselves blessings, to give us opportunities to be a blessing to others? Can we use our faith in a wiser way than we have in the past, by knowing that it can open the doors of every good to us, or it can slam them and shut them, locked against us? This day, every day, let us use our faith in ourselves, in what God created us to be, our faith in this awesome, divine power who knows us and loves us, who created perfection in each one of us. Oh, Father, for your daily, your moment-by-moment help to have faith in you and in ourselves. We say thank you. Amen.
Very slowly. I don't know how clumsy I am at this. This little tune came to me when I was worrying about a lot of things, and mostly money, and this came to me, and this little tune made me feel a lot better. So it's a little, gonna lighten it up a little bit. It's a little lighthearted. So I hope you enjoy it. some things when I was a little girl. He said, this is a cruel, cruel world. Nothing comes for free, my child, not in this hard life. It's all toil, struggle, and strife. Then God whispered in my ear, I've got some things to show you. Just relax and enjoy the view. Can you see that baby's smile and that bird's lovely wings? Oh, and you should hear that bird sing. God said, how do you like this song? Said, you don't need to pay, I'm giving it away. God said, do you like my flowers? Put your money away, they're all free today. God said, I'm giving something from nothing. Fill up your cup and pass it on down. I'm giving love for free, I've got enough to go around. Just pass it on down, spread it around. How inspiring it is to see that the priceless things are free. They're all gifts for you and me. So I'm having my own sale, a 2-for-1 on hugs today. The first one's free, but the second you've got to give it away. God said, look at that puppy, wag her tail. You know your puppy's love is not for sale. God said, do you like my flowers? Don't they smell nice? Wait till you hear the price. God said, I'm giving something for nothing. Fill up your cup and pass it on down. I'm giving love for free, I've got enough to go around. Just pass it on down. Yeah, I'm giving something for nothing. Fill up your cup and pass it on down. I'm giving love for free, I've got enough to go around. Just pass it on down, spread it around. What about that butterfly? The twinkle in your lover's eyes. The best things in life are free.
I've enjoyed you so much today. Thank you for your gifts. It's time now for the blessing of our gifts, those things that were first given to us. It's ourselves, our time, and our possessions. You'll say with me, please. Today I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God, omnipresent, blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God. We're also passing the prayer basket right now. If you would take a slip of paper, pray for someone on the slip. I'm sure you will be blessed many times more. My friends, it says right here on your orders of service, thanks. We don't want to skip this time or miss out on this time to turn to one another and say thank you for the special gift that you are. It's okay to say thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Thank you for the special gift that you are. Thank you.
Thank all of you for the special gift that you are, because each one of you are a special gift to this church and to me. First off, we're going to get important business out of the way. This is birthday Sunday. We have two birthdays, Dale and Valerie. Dale is the only one here, so we will sing happy birthday. Whatever else may be over there. Okay, let's see. The next important thing is, isn't this Christmas tree beautiful? Yeah. Thank you, people that Edwin's not here, but Edwin had a really good time decorating the tree yesterday. And he would have put 500 more balls on there. But he had a great time. He did a good job. So when he shows up the next time, everybody tell him what a great job he did decorating the tree. So that's what it's all about, and we always have a good time. I don't care if it's 2 people or 20 people here. And yesterday we cranked up the rock and roll Christmas music, so it was really. Yes, it was. So we had a lot of fun. Okay, this coming Saturday night, Christmas party, 6 o'clock.
Right.
You to bring. We will not be doing the gifts like we usually do. We decided not to do that this year. We're trying to make things as easy as possible for people. We are going to have snacks. People bring snacks of some kind so everybody can share. And we're going to have lots of fun. The events committee is meeting in a little while to shore up with the fun games we're going to have. So I know Tammy said, what kind of games you having? I said, it's a surprise. You got to be here to see what's going on. So anyhow, but come 6 o'clock, well, I've been making a call about it this week. But anyhow, we always have a great time with that. Also, there's a congregation meeting at the end of the month on December the 31st. We'll be talking about that later, but we have to have another one. We have to have them twice a year, so this will be our second one. We're under the Christmas tree. We're taking up getting stuffed animals again, and I'll take them to the Ram House the week before Christmas. We've been doing that for the last few years. Also, in your orders of service, you saw a list of stuff. We talked about this briefly last week. Instead of doing gifts like we did last year for a family at Oak Grove, we have decided to, in the city, there are 350-some homeless children. So we are, along with many other people, collecting stuff for that. And I'll be taking it probably the week before Christmas. I'll get the exact date on that. But there's a list of things. There's a bin in the foyer. There's one in here. Also, Martha fixed the Christmas tree in there with scarves and stuff, and if you want to bring scarves and resin, we just kind of decorate the tree in there with it.
until I take it down. But anyhow, that's what we're doing for our project this year for Christmas. If you have any questions about it, you can certainly see me and we'll talk about it. Also, coming up Christmas Eve, as we know, Christmas Eve is on Sunday, which we normally have a late service. Everybody voted to have their regular 11 o'clock service, so we'll have the regular Christmas Eve service at 11 o'clock on Sunday. I know it's confusing, it has been, and still people are saying, well, we're going to have it at 7. No, we voted to have it at 11 o'clock, so they can't get it through their head it's on Sunday. But anyhow, we'll be talking about, well, remind everybody so that they won't show up later and not be here for Sunday service. Also, one other thing is, some of you know Kamara, she's the lady that does our website, and she and James have started this new business called Rose Heart Productions, and they will do a story of your life with a video biography to keep your legacy alive. So if anybody's interested in this, you know, it's things that, you know, that maybe people wish they had a long time ago so they could keep records of things and pictures. Anyhow, Kamara asked me would I do this, and and we got posters out on most boards. So if you're interested in doing that, call Kamara and they'll do a great job for you. And she said there's deals to be made, so I'm sure she'll make you a good deal. So anyhow, I think, and the flowers this week are for Dale, given by Laurel and Cynthia for your birthday. So happy birthday, Dale. Oh, and also, Maurita says there will be no Wednesday night class through December. Through December, okay. All right, but our Wednesday night meeting at coffee and our Thursday night meeting are still going on, so we have to have some fun. So anyhow, we continue to do that.
Our closing hymn today is "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," page 29, and we'll sing verses 1, 2, and 3. Rise when you're ready. Page 29, "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," verses 1, 2, and 3.
Choirs of angels, singing exultation.